Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Today we are going to be smoking a pork butt for some pulled pork for a family barbecue. Now I know my channel is usually like a garage and how-to channel, but we're changing it up because this is what I love to do and I share things that I'm really passionate about and things that I really like to do. So something that I really enjoy doing is smoking meat. So sit tight and I'll show you how I do a pulled pork. Thanks. Alright, so first thing that I'm going to do here is I am going to make a brine. So what I have here is 2 cups of apple juice. I have a half tablespoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1 cup of apple cider vinegar. And then we're just going to mix this until it's thoroughly combined and the salt and the sugar is dissolved. Okay, once that's dissolved, we're going to go ahead and set this aside, and then we're going to get our pork ready. Okay, so now that that's dissolved and we're all good to go, we got my pork butt. This is a 13-pound pork butt. It came packaged as 2. So the first thing we're going to do is this fat here, we're going to leave most of this fat cap, but what we're going to do is we're going to trim off some of the hard fat that's not going to render down. And just some of the loose fat. Now this roast is a bone out. I imagine they removed the bone because it was so big. And then generally there's a bone in here, but this one, as you can see, it opens up. There is no bone in there. So I'm just going to continue to feel around for any bones that they missed when they were cutting this up. And then also any sinew or anything that was left on the pork butt. In this fat cap, you can see it's pretty thick, so we're going to go ahead. You don't want to cut it all off, but you just want to shave some of it off, just so it's not so thick on there. Alright, that's actually good. So we're going to go ahead and shave that up. And then the next thing that we're going to do is that brine that we just made. We're going to go ahead and inject this pork butt with that. So let me get that ready and wash my hands, and then we'll get injecting. Alright, so I got my brine. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up in my injector. Just like that. And then we're going to go into the pork, push this all the way in, and just inject it. You're going to see that it might not pick it up, but you'll see that the pork is swelling up. And it's okay if the juice comes out. Because most of it's going to stay in there. The reason that we inject it is it's just going to inject flavor. And then some of that vinegar and that apple juice and all those, the sugar and the salt, that's actually going to give this flavor. So since the bone is out, you're going to see that it's going to be hard to inject it fully, but you're just going to do your best to make sure that you get as much in there as you can. And I'm just going to continue injecting this until all my brine solution is gone. Pork is fully injected. We're going to take some paper towels and we're just going to kind of pat it dry. I went ahead and dumped the liquid out of the pan just because we didn't need all that liquid in there. And then I'm going to flip it over, kind of dry out the pan a little bit. I'm just going to continue to dry off the pork and get it a little bit dry. So the next step, our binder will stick. Perfect. Alright, so the next step is we got to add a binder. So I'm just using some classic yellow mustard. And you're not going to taste this. This is more just to help the seasonings that I'm going to put on stick. So you're going to put that on. And you're going to rub it in. And you just want to kind of cover everything. So a lot of people don't like mustard. To be honest with you, you will never taste it. Everything in it pretty much cooks off. The vinegar in this will actually help tenderize the meat, but it will actually just, it's mainly just for getting the seasonings and stuff to stick. You don't need a ton. If you don't want mustard or don't like it, you could use Worcestershire sauce. You could rub a little bit of oil on there. You don't even have to use it. You could just sprinkle the seasoning on, but this is just going to help it to coat the meat and give it something to really just stick on. Alright, so we're going to flip these back fat side up again. And then we're going to take our seasoning. This is a homemade seasoning that I make, and I just fill it in this bottle here. I'll make sure that I put the ingredients in the description, but this is super good. It's a brown sugar and salt base. It's called salt, brown sugar, pepper, paprika, cumin, mustard powder. It's got all sorts of stuff in there, but it is super, super good. So you just want to take this, and you're just going to go ahead and get it seasoned nice and liberally. You want this whole thing seasoned. You can't really over season it because these are such big cuts of meat. There we go. And then we're going to flip these fat side down. So that's how we want to cook them. And just keep seasoning. You can even go into the slit here, get some seasoning up in there. You just want them really, really well coated, just like they are. Make sure you do the end. And then get the other end on. There we go. And then now that I'm done seasoning and everything, I'm going to be washing my hands. So I'm just going to get these and I'm going to put them in the pan. I'm going to square them up how I want them. There we go. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to throw these in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow I'm going to be throwing them on my pitboss smoker. Look at that. Looks good enough to eat already. Alright everybody, so it is the next day here. It is about 5:30ish in the morning, 5:45. I got my pellet grill all set up and turned on. I have this set at 225. We're going to go low and slow. It's going to take about 2 hours, 90 minutes, 2 hours per pound of meat. And then once this is all heated up and ready to go, we will grab our meat and we're going to put it on. Alrighty, so our smoker is finally up to temp here. As you can see, it's sitting right around 225. And then the degrees on here. It's showing 225 as well. And then this is what our meat looks like after it's sat overnight. So we're gonna go ahead and get this onto the grill. I'm just gonna take a pork butt. Just gonna take it and we're gonna set it in there. And you're gonna position this how you want it and how you want it to be when it's pretty much done cooking. And then in about an hour or so, we're going to come back out and we're going to start spritzing it with the apple cider vinegar and apple juice spray. So here in an hour, I'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like after that. Okay everybody, we are about an hour into the smoke here. Let's check our butts. They are looking good. They are not ready for a spritz. I can see that the crust on this, the bark has not set, so we're just going to keep cooking it at this temperature for another maybe couple hours. But the reason that we don't spritz the meat is right away is because you don't want to wash off the seasoning. And the reason for the spritz in the first place is to keep that bark from getting super hard and keeping that bark from getting where it's going to break your teeth. So that's why we spritz. It doesn't really add a ton of flavor or anything. It just keeps that bark where you can actually eat it and it won't be breaking your teeth. So just sit tight and I'll be back in about an hour and we will check on the meat then. Alright everybody, we are back here and we're about 3.5 hours into the cook. So we're going to be doing a little spritz on the meat. As you can see, our bark is starting to set. Nothing's pulling off, it's nice and dry. So we're just going to go ahead and spritz the meat here. We want to get it, so we're just going to go ahead and get everything nice and moistened down. The spritz that I'm using is a 50, maybe 2 to 1 apple cider vinegar and apple juice. And like I said before, this is just loosening up that bark and making it so it's not harder than a rock. It's also going to bring some more color as the sugar from the applesauce gets smoked on the meat as well. So here we are. We're going to check back on this probably in about another hour and see what's going on. And then after that, we will come out and spritz it again. Okay, we are 4 hours into the cooking process, and I needed to add the temperature gauges, so I went ahead and added them. I have 2 of them set up, and what we're going to do is you want to make sure that your meat is around 140 degrees around before a 4-hour mark so it doesn't go bad. And the reason I waited so long to add those is so that anything that was on the meat, like germ-wise, that it didn't contaminate the meat at all. So that's why I didn't add the probes earlier this morning. So now that we got those in, we're just going to keep an eye on this. We're going to notice that the meat's going to hit what's called a stall period. And what that is it's where the meat internally, everything's starting to break down in the meat, and it just kind of stalls. So it just hovers around a certain temperature for a long time. So that usually happens around 160 degrees. There's 2 methods you could do after that. You could either take your meat out and wrap it, and that's going to speed up the cooking process by a few hours, or you can just let it rock and roll like I am right now. And then after that is all done, we will, once it hits an internal temperature of 205, 210 degrees, then we'll go ahead and pull it off, get it tented, and it will be good to go. Alright everybody, we are back and we are around the 5-hour mark on this cook. Now if you look at our temperature right here, I think we've hit our stall. We've been sitting around the 150 range for quite some time, probably for like the best about hour or so. So I want to say it's on the stall, and that's on the big pork butt. And in the small one, if you see the probe temperature right there, it's sitting at 161 degrees. So we have hit our stall. Let's open this up and take a look at our butt. Oh man, these things look amazing. So we're going to take our spritz here. We're just going to spritz these down. You're going to see some natural juices flowing out. That's okay, nothing wrong with that. Just some self-basting. this down. And then my bottle here, it is almost empty, as you can see. Yeah, I'm almost out of spritzing liquid. And then once that's out, I'm actually going to switch to just straight apple juice and probably cut it with a little bit of water. No rhyme or reason for that, just save. I'm actually running out of vinegar, so nothing will hurt. But that's where we're at on our cook. As you can see, our temperature is holding around, well, I just opened the lid, so it's not 100% accurate, but we're holding right around 225 to 200. So I just had the lid open and it dropped a little bit, but there we go. That's what she's looking like. And we will come back in about another hour and take a look at it and do another spritz. And then we're going to check our temp as well and see where we're at and see if we're starting to get over that stall, which I doubt. It'll probably be at that stall for a couple hours. So, all right, we'll see you then. All right, we are finally 7 hours into this smoke. Let's go ahead and first thing and check our temps. Look at that, 156, 7 hours to get there. And then the small is sitting at 167. So let's pop this open and see how she looks after the last hour. Oh man, that's looking good. I wish y'all could smell this because it smells amazing. Oh my gosh, can't wait. My mouth's watering just thinking about eating this bad boy. Alrighty, get this all spritzed down like that. And then we also have a couple of guests here with me today. Our first guest is, you guessed it, Dixie. Hi babies. Then our other guest, Lucy, is Lucy here. She says hello. She's kind of camera shy. Doesn't listen. Get out of there, Lucy. But there we are. That's where we're at. Not sure how much longer we have to go. It's just creeping along. We're sitting at 156. I'm thinking that, I don't know, I hope this sucker's done by like 7 o'clock tonight because, man, I got some stuff to do and yeah, but whatever. It's about the journey to get to the smoked meat. So anyway, thanks a lot. I'll see you guys here in about an hour. Thanks a lot. Alright, so we are finally at the 9th hour. So let's check our temps here. The big roast, we are sitting at 168. The small one is sitting at 176. Looks like we're creeping past that stall point I was talking about. Look at these bad boys. Oh my gosh, they look so good. We're just gonna give them a nice heavy spritz. That bark is looking amazing. It's not too thick. It's not too black. It's a nice brownish, reddish. All the sugar from the apple juice and the spice rub, it's just setting on there perfectly. There we go. We got this all ready to rock and roll. This will probably be my last video until it's almost done, just because it's probably getting repetitive for y'all. So I will see you in a few hours. Alrighty guys, so we are at the 12-hour mark for our cooking. Our temperatures, I had the probe in, it wasn't in all the way. We're in the thickest part, but the big one is at 163 now. The small one is around 181. Let's take a look and see what they look like. There we go. They're looking still amazing. I've just been coming out every hour, hour and a half and just giving them a good spritz. As you can see, the bark is really building. It's starting to turn that dark color that you want. There we go. I'm all out of juice, got a refill. Go ahead and close that. I'll check back in with you guys here in a little bit. Alright everybody, we are finally at that magical moment. We are 14 hours into this cook. And the small one is finally done. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our instant temp here, turn it on, and we're looking for a target temperature of 200, 205 to 210 degrees. Look at that. Beautiful. Perfect. This bigger one, it's doing pretty well too. Middle, but there we go, 87. This one's probably got about another hour or so to go, depending on some spots. We probe. Well, maybe not. But anyway, maybe half an hour. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the probe out, and we're gonna take something. Usually I'd be using 2 hands, but I got a film, so I'm just gonna use this giant spatula I got. We're just gonna put it in this aluminum pan here, and then is what we're gonna do. We're gonna close this back down, give it another spritz. Now we're going to take this bad boy inside. I'm just going to wrap it with foil, then we're going to wait probably about a half an hour and just let it set before I start pulling it. Alright, so here is the final moment, the moment that we have been slaving over our smoker all day for. I brought my pork butts in and I tented them lightly. You don't want to clamp this down because it's going to trap the moisture in there. There we go. Check this out. We got this nice bark, yet it's still super moist and tender. Oh, it's going to be delicious. So let me get set up here and we'll start breaking into it. Okay, so now we're going to take our first pork butt. And look at this, guys. This thing is it's literally falling apart. But it's not mushy, which is great. You don't want it to overcook it. You want to aim for that 290-degree target. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start pulling this apart slowly. Then any extra fat that's in there, you can go ahead and just scrape that off and get rid of it. I'm just going to remove this. This thing's been resting for about an hour, and it is still super hot. But look at that. Look at how juicy this is. Just pulls apart, super moist and juicy. It's got that perfect smoke ring. Low and slow. That's the way you gotta go. Hey, look at this. This is just falling apart. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue shredding this. It's pretty easy. It's super hot. It's burning my hands. So I'm gonna have to end up using some utensils to get it shredded here. Here we go. Let's give this a try. Let's give this little piece here a try. Alrighty, so here we go. We're giving it a try. That's super moist, super juicy. This bark, oh my gosh, it is just like amazing. This is like, oh, killer. I don't think I would do anything different. I would just keep doing the same exact things that I've done. Thanks for watching my video. Hit like and subscribe, and we will check you next time. Later.